On March 23rd, industry experts came together in Frankfurt across performance and health, tactics and coaching and scouting. We sat down with the people driving the game forward.
Niklas Virtanen, FC Midtjylland and Head of Sports Science. My topic is monitoring performance demands through IMA. Going a bit deeper than the traditional GPS, looking at things from a load perspective and trying to really dig deeper into the performance demands, what the players are going through, how they're behaving. And that's actually the key takeaways, trying to understand the player behavior, what tools we have for that, on top of the traditional total distances, high-speed running and such. For the next 3 years, I believe that the competitive advantage comes from how well organizations translate information into decisions. And it's not going to come through collecting more data. So most elite clubs, they have access to tracking systems, video analysis softwares. The data sets are so large that the real difference will definitely come from the good people who know how to interpret this information in a way that it supports the coaching decisions and demands of the playing model. And then another one is definitely going to be the growing recognition of AI tools and such. So that's going to for sure help us, but at the same time, it's going to cause some new challenges, especially around the databases, languages we're using. But ultimately, the advantage will come from combining football understanding, structured performance data, and communication, if to put it together. Intuition matters and nothing will ever replace it. Or the experienced eye in football, because coaches, practitioners, they've developed a deep understanding of the game through thousands and thousands of hours and repetitions, sessions, matches, conversation with the players. So that instinctive sense and feeling that something's right or wrong will always be valuable. But the mistake I believe that many environments make is treating the intuition as something unquestionable, something as the concrete truth. Because for me, in reality, the intuition should be just one input among several others, like one data point. And then we treat it not as a final authority, but as one extra layer in the decision making. Sometimes the expert opinion weighs so much so that of course we follow it, but in the end it's just one data point amongst all the others, and it should not replace or hold too much value in the decision making process. So yeah, it's never going away, it never can be replaced, but we need to think about how we take it into account in the decision making process. Traditional GPS targets. So that's a bit double-edged sword. And especially how we define and interpret the training load targets through GPS, how strongly we allow them to influence the training decisions and the training planning. Yeah, the metrics, they provide great insights if the questions are right. But then it might be fooling us. What's the difference between running 18 kilometers and 19.2 and 19.8 kilometers? What's the difference? The thresholds are there, but what's the actual difference for the players? Because the football performance is actually shaped by far more than just the threshold or distances, a structure of exercises, tactical behavior of the team, mechanical demands, inertial data, changes of direction. There's so many things influencing the performance. So yeah, GPS targets. And then don't let me get started on the downsides of GPS, satellite connections, all of this. If you play inside, you lose the data completely. So if used correctly, the GPS thresholds targets, brilliant tool to guide what you do, but if used wrongly, you might end up in the wrong place. Good decision making always starts with the key performance question. So before looking at any data or talking about anything, we need to define what we're actually trying to understand or solve. Is the question about player readiness, training load, whatever the performance question might be, we need to understand what are we after, what are we trying to solve? Because I strongly believe that without clear question, the data can easily become just noise. We find something interesting, we get sidetracked, and then we lose the path. So once we have the KPQ, key performance question, then we just bring in all the data to gather sufficient data and context. That's what we need. But we need to be really clear that we don't bring any feelings into the equation at that point. So no feelings, just hard facts, data, and also your opinion is a fact. It's a one data point. So I'm talking about subjective and objective data. They're both combined into the database to create fact library. Then we make a conclusion and a recommendation based on that data. And again, the data includes experience, opinions, but no feelings. We don't bring feelings into decision making. But once we have the recommendation and the conclusion, then we bring it to the table and we start talking about it with feelings. Then we start bringing in the intuition and stuff, how I feel about this decision, this recommendation. And yeah, sometimes we ditch all the facts, all the recommendations, and we go with the feelings. Heated discussions with the gaffer. Yeah, sometimes we just follow the gaffer's word. But I'd like to believe that once we have facts, feelings, and then we arrive somewhere, we get a good outcome. We're currently moving through, many might describe it as the fourth industrial revolution with the AI and machine learning. So in sports, large data sets, databases, everything, they're being handled much more swiftly. The insights will become increasingly automated. But there are pros and cons in that. So it does not automatically make the decision making easier, because the responsibility is in the end in the human. And how well can they spot the signals, translate the message to football language to the key stakeholders, instead of just talking about numbers and this is what AI recommends. The coaches will shut it down immediately if they hear that. So we still need to have a human translating all the information into the football context. We need that 100%, and bringing in all the feelings and things that the AI can't understand. So the ability to connect with the reality of the game is number one. Then the second one, also around AI, data hygiene, data quality, because in the end, AI, machine learning, they will always answer the question you ask, and it will always be right, so to say. But what if the database is not clean? It's going to give you wrong recommendations. It's going to make wrong conclusions, because it is always analyzing the stuff that you feed it. And it's always going to be right. It's just the question is wrong, the database is wrong, or you don't know how to use it. So I think that's the topic that's going to be so crucial in the future. How do we work around AI, and how do we translate the stuff that AI gives us into the sport context? Combining three elements, I'd say: a deep understanding of the game, regardless of the sport, reliable and well-structured performance data, or whatever the data is, and then ability to communicate the insights to coaches and all the decision makers.